Hi everybody, and welcome to Once Upon a Scarf. This channel celebrates the art of the vintage scarf, from luxury silks to bandanas. Here we zoom in close to the incredible stories they tell. Today's scarf is an exception to our usual celebration. It is very, very likely the most shockingly cringe carré the great house of Hermès ever produced. Hang on for its multiple offenses, coming up soon. I'm the author of 2 classic books on vintage fashion, Secondhand Chic and Its Vintage Darling. I'm a huge fan of the luxury, affordability, and in this case, fascinating historical windows in great vintage scarves. I'm so happy to share what I know with you. So let's get right to it. In the penalty box today is a 1980 design by Philippe Ledoux. He was one of the classic Hermès artists who, over his lifetime, produced 80-some designs for the house, many of them legendary, like Napoleon here, Livet there, or this wonderful design called Grandland. He specialized in horsey, nautical, and hunting themes, the kinds of scarves that made Hermès a worldwide phenomenon. And this one must have seemed like a good idea at the time. He designed it at some point before his death in 1974, and the house issued it 6 years later. It's called Chasse Exotique, exotic hunt, which may already set off warning bells. Exotic in the 20th century West all too often meant the colonies, and not just the colonies, exploiting the colonies for their riches, be they human, mineral, agricultural, or, in this case, animal. So here we have a design of 4 quadrants framing semicircular scenes along the border, all pointing to a central image. So brace yourself. You're about to get triggered. Sadly, nobody warned the scarf's many animals about the triggers that shot them dead. Here we have a leopard pelt. Across from that, a tiger skin. Up to the right, we have a hawk's beak turtle. And down on the left, an assembly of rifle, spear, and hat for Buana to keep his pale head protected from the equatorial sun. As will become clear in a moment, this scarf doesn't represent 1980 when it was issued, but a historical past, more like the early 19th century. This in no way alters the fact that the animals pictured have been hunted to endangerment, precisely because they had been vaunted as trophies in this scarf and elsewhere. But wait, it gets worse. The half-moons all show scenes of exotic hunts as they happen, with a hawk with spears on camelback, elephant back, and foot. This last one was a piece of cake because the prey wasn't breaking any speed records. It's turtles. These fellows are hunting turtles for their shells. Tortoiseshell was a prized ornamental product in the exotic old days, and of course is now strictly forbidden. So there's that. Let's move on to the central panel, where we see people on an elephant engaged in a tiger hunt. I did warn you. The poor tiger must attack the poor elephant in a fight for its life. In case you might think this is an exaggeration, there's one account of a tiger hunt performed by King George V of England in 1911, where 39 tigers were shot over 10 days. The elephant toll went unrecorded. If you're still with me, and I don't blame you if you're not, we get to the final panel down here, which shows Africans, in loincloths or naked, engaged in spearing a lion. Okay, so this did happen, of course, but let's take a really good look at this image. There's bravery for sure, and there's also this guy running away. So, at this point you might be thinking, why did Ledoux create such a mixed message? The answer lies in the fact that he didn't create this image at all. He copied it. This one, and all the others in the scarf, are direct lifts from engravings by a British artist named Thomas Howitt. And as always with this scarf, it gets even worse. The original name of Howitt's 1813 print was Caffrey's Hunting a Lion. Caffrey was a colonialist term for the indigenous peoples. It was not complimentary. In fact, according to the Journal of Southern African Studies, it is now classified as hate speech. Okay, so how de chasse exotique sit with Hermès today? Even though you can find it on the secondhand market, I imagine officially it's been relegated to the closet where the house keeps its skeletons. But to be completely fair, I do think it's fascinating that from 1985, the house collaborated with big cat artist Robert Dallet on 25 silks showcasing these species, where part of the proceeds went to conservation. In fact, the house's private collection now contains 80 works by Dallet, which absolutely goes a ways to redressing the messaging here. Oh, before I forget, there's one last reason why this scarf is an embarrassment, and this has nothing to do with the great house of Hermès. Just the opposite. Adding insult to injury, my version here is probably fake. I'll explain why I suspect so in a side-by-side throwdown with an 100% authentic bought-in-the-store Hermès, where we'll compare weight, stitching, printing, and labels as a way to help you authenticate your resale buys. So that's today's scarf story on an Hermès scarf that probably does deserve to be canceled. In future videos, we'll get back to the more beautiful examples from this house and others, and more stories with a happy ending. Thanks so much for watching. Please hit the usual buttons if you'd like to see more.